Ben, appreciate your time. Thanks for making time for us. When we last
Yes,
saw
sir.
you here, you were playing wide receiver and defensive back, and now you're transformed into a rush end. What was the most difficult part of making that transformation? Was it the physical part, the mental part?
I think it was more mental, because at my size, I put on about 15 pounds in the off season. So I went around from 205 or actually 15, 20 pounds to around the 220, 225 range. So I think for me, it was just mental and just having to be physical every single play. Because when you go from playing safety, you're guarding receivers and running backs sometimes. So you're not really always getting in the trenches or always getting, hit every single play. But when you play on a play on the defensive line, you're going to get hit every single play, no matter what play is getting called. So I think that's the only thing that really stuck out to me. But all of that's mental, because even when I played down at FIU, my first game playing defensive line, like you can always look at a guy and say, oh, he's 6'6", 320, 300 pounds, or 6'3", or just some huge outlandish numbers. But I was with those dudes, I wasn't, getting blown off the ball or getting blown back. So it wasn't necessarily a physical thing. I think it's just mental and just having that dog mentality of just, I can't be scared of anyone. So I think that's just the biggest thing for me.
Was defensive line at Morgantown ever something even that you repped in practice? Did you get in Coach Lacey's ear and try to convince him to let you have a couple snaps there?
Yeah, I tried my hardest. It's actually funny that I got to play this position, because I've always actually wanted to play it. But I just never got the opportunity to. But no, never in high school have I ever got the opportunity. But I'm just glad that I got this opportunity, and I'm doing pretty well right now.
So you leave Morgantown, you go to Lackawanna, and I know you played safety there, but how did the years at Lackawanna develop you as a football player, even though it's at a different position?
I think going to Lackawanna, I'm going and I'm playing with and against football players that are all over the country. And I think just for me, it was like, there's nothing wrong with West Virginia high school football, but when I'm playing with kids from Jersey, Florida, Pennsylvania, Ohio, and all these states that are extremely good in football, that are known for football, that kind of has to up my game, and I have to play to, a higher level. So I think just playing at Lackawanna and playing against good competition and playing against Division I, even some Power 5 guys, really helped develop me as a football player, off and on the field, just having to take stuff seriously, just off the field, just academically, and on the field, just take my opponents more seriously. And that transitioned over really well for me at the next level, playing Division I, because there wasn't that huge jump that a lot of high schoolers have to make from high school going straight into college. I kind of had a little head start going against JUCO, which is college football. So that was really beneficial for me.
I know you had a couple of offers coming out of Lackawanna at the Division I level. What made Long Island the best of the fits?
I think it was the coaching staff. They're very transparent and very open with you. And I think just, I love the state of New York. I always love visiting the New York City metropolitan area. So I think it was kind of more of like, great coaching staff, great school, great academics. And also on top of that, I'm 20 minutes away from New York City, literally the most, obviously it's New York City, the craziest place probably in the United States. So I think it just checked off everything on my list, and I've loved being here every single day. I love the coaches. I love my teammates. So I think it was a really good opportunity and a really good, choice that I made in my life.
So you were at Lackawanna for the seasons in 2017 and 2018. Did you redshirt at Long Island in 2019, or have you been there just 2 years?
I just been here. Well, when I got here, and I transferred spring 2020, and then COVID hit. So I got a COVID year back. So technically I'm still a junior, but I used a red shirt because right after Lackawanna, I actually committed to Hampton University, but there were some issues with my credits. So I had to leave Hampton University in 2019. And then that was technically my redshirt year, to just like sitting out and finding a new school. So I still have 2 years eligibility, counting this year as one of them. So I have one more year after this.
Okay. So you go to Long Island, and I think this game was on the schedule then when you arrived at Long Island. So how excited were you when you knew that you'd be making this trip back?
I was extremely excited, just growing up in Morgantown and just being around the atmosphere, being around the fans, and just being around everything is just surreal. And just being able to play at Mountaineer Field is just going to be almost like a dream come true for me, because I always wanted to play there in front of 65, 70,000 people. And just knowing that I'm from there and playing in front of people I went to high school with, parents, coaches, teachers, everything like that, that's just going to make my world. But at the same time, it's a football game. It's, I have to play to my best of my ability. Our team has to play to the best of their ability. So, it's going to be all fun, being back home in the hometown, but at the same time, it's a business trip. So I do have to take it extremely serious.
I know this is a young and building program on Long Island, but what's it like to be a part of something that's, kind of the foundation steps for what will be something that hopefully continues to build?
I think it's great, being at a school and just seeing, how good, because we have a lot of good young players that are even contributing this year, and just seeing where the school's going to go, and frankly, I love playing these non-conference games. I love, playing FBS opponents, because I feel like that just makes us better. And I feel like that's going to be a advantage for us later on, because we're playing at this high level. We played FIU a level higher than us. We're playing Power 5 now. West Virginia, which is a couple levels higher than us. So I feel like, just the foundation that we're building right now is going to be very successful. And I feel like the school is going in the right direction with everything they're doing. And I'm just glad to be a part of it.
Greg, you want to jump in?
Yeah, certainly. So Ben, let me get some background that I think I know, but make sure I'm right. Your dad is a math professor at West Virginia?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
He is.
Okay. So what's your major? Do you want to follow in the mathematics area?
I'm currently a sports management major, and I unfortunately am not following in his footsteps. Me and my dad always have these arguments all the time about, why don't you get into math? Frankly, I do not like math at all, and I really feel like that's just because he's a math professor and he's always just pushing it on me. Ever since I was a little kid, even growing up, going to classes with him, just hearing math and just seeing it all the time. I just think that's probably what turned it off for me, just doing all of that. So,
all right. Yeah. And then you grew up just down the hill from Mountaineer Field. Is that right? Sort of towards the side of the hill?
Yeah. I'm literally not even 5 minutes away from the stadium. And even when I'm back home, just at my dad's house, I usually just work out. I run Law School Hill when I'm home. So it's just really convenient, just having everything in Morgantown right there, just living in the center of everything. So yeah, I'm right by the stadium. So it's going to be a really surreal moment on Saturday.
And so your first Mountaineer moment, do you remember your first game? Some of the guys that you looked up to and maybe even met?
I would say my first Mountaineer moment, I forget what year, but I was playing for a local Pee Wee football team, the Evansdale Tigers. And at the time we had, players come to our practices. And then sometimes we would practice at the WVU indoor facility, and we would be around players like Noel Devine. I think Geno Smith was there. We had Jock Sanders, just players like that are literal WVU legends. Just being able to be around those type of people just when I'm in the key development stages, learning the game and just being around it is just things that I'll never forget. And just that era of WVU football is just something that will just always be instilled in me. And, it's just, yeah.
So how many guest tickets do you have to request? Are you going around to teammates trying to gobble them all up? How's this work? How many are you going to have there?
I think I'm going to have over 20. Most likely, but a lot of my friends from Morgantown already got their tickets as soon as they seen Long Island on the WVU schedule. So a lot of my friends and old classmates and teachers already got these tickets just because they seen I was playing in this game. So they kind of saved my trouble from trying to get all these tickets from my teammates. But also my teammates just offered all these tickets to me too, so it made my life a lot easier.
So your parents will wear LIU gear. Your dad's getting a check from WVU. What's the loyalty?
Yeah, I was actually on the phone with my dad last night, and he was like, "And I'm kind of conflicted right now because this is where I'm working, and this is like my son. So I'm like, I don't know what to do." And I'm like, "Well, you have to wear LIU gear because I'm your son. I'm your blood." So I think he made that decision to wear some LIU gear. He might get some, of his former students in the crowd maybe saying some stuff to him, but he has a valid reason for doing it. So